Good grief. Another user lost all their information just because they trusted somebody with a Nardo avatar again?
Yeah, I don't get why people are just blindly trusting people they're meeting on the internet. You shouldn't do these things. That's what happened to Stranger Danger. What happened to Stranger Danger?
Exactly.
What happened to it?
Just because we look cute and we're also very cute and cuddly doesn't mean that you're supposed to trust every single person that you find on the internet. Oh, hi folks, it's Dr. Detroit here. The doctor is in, along with my good buddy Geek Dubs here, and we're currently looking at a few stories because we were talking about this not that long ago, but man, there are so many strangers on the internet. And some people are just so willing to give them information just because they look cute or just because they're inviting.
You shouldn't trust things that you believe on the internet. You shouldn't trust everything. It goes for pretty much most things that are being posted, like nowadays, sadly, news, politics, people.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
Yeah, I was just on MSNB Tatum and saw that that there was actually a Tatum that is accused of giving out nuclear test codes to the Wicker Beasts, which I don't think that's absolutely true. But you know what? It's not even just anything that happens on here. It happens everywhere else. So in this VRChat 101, me and Geek here are going to basically talk a little bit about how not to give away your information and stuff to just strangers on the internet in a little segment that we're going to call. What do you think we gotta call this? Let's see. A future me edits something right here, right now. How about we call it... What, no, not that. Well, remember when I said in one of my previous videos, if it takes too long to come up with an idea, you're overthinking it. But you have an idea?
My mind goes blank under pressure.
Well then, I think we'll just simply call it Do This, Not That, Stranger Edition. Roll the intro. Oh wait, the intro is right here on my laptop. Hold on. I can pull it up right here. Let's see.
Oh.
Let's see. VRChat 101 intro. Okay, this should be it right here. No, not the traveling Nardo. No, wrong one. Here we go.
Let me do it.
Here we go, VRChat 101. I got it. Here we go. And now, roll the intro.
Wait.
So yeah, every day on VRChat and also on any other website you can think of, such as like Twitter, which is now called X, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, this chat, that chat, everywhere chat, there is
Discord especially.
Oh my god, exactly, yes. There are so many people out there that think that they're actually kind of cool, like Geek and I, but in reality, they want nothing more than to steal your information, whether it be credit card information or login information, but most of the time, logins.
And it's definitely upsetting because this stuff happens all the time, no matter how much warning it's getting out. And it can be very dangerous to a lot of people, especially minors, who just trust random people that they meet, and then bad stuff happens to them. it's not necessarily you can't trust anyone, you just need to know who you're talking to before you talk to them.
Exactly. And that's one of the reasons too why, you know, here on VRChat you're always going to meet some interesting characters. I mean, you know, not everybody is going to be friendly and, you know, as accepting or anything like that. But some people can also do some pretty weird stuff. So, with that being said, let's go over to the red board over here, and we are going to kind of illustrate for you guys some of the different things that some of these hackers and things do. So, going over to the red board right about now. Here we are, and so we're about to show you Oh no, are you okay?
Oh my!
Are you okay, bro? Are you okay? Oh gosh.
Fine.
Okay.
Hey, I didn't overshoot this time.
Yeah, no, you didn't overshoot. You basically slammed into my red board. But you know what? Thank God, this thing is actually, you know, soft, so it's just fine. Anyway, so now that he's here, of course, thank God he's not paralyzed. So now let's go ahead and give you guys a little scenario here. So let's go ahead and take my trusty white pen here. So we're going to come up with a little scenario here. So as you can see, this is, let's pretend that this is the world, that this is a world that you're in. Oh, what do you got? Oh yeah, you got that. And and there it goes into the wall again. So let's pretend right now that this is the world here. And let's say that this is you up here. And let's just say that this is just full of like other folks. Put some here, put some here. Yeah, go ahead and put some there. And you know what? Drawing you guys out, I'm just going to go ahead and put a bunch of mirror-only people here in this area. Now, these guys don't necessarily matter, but what the hell. Alright, so anyway. So,
Just insulted like half the community.
Yeah, but you know what? We're Nardos, so we can kind of get away with a lot more stuff, you know, for the most part. Anyway, so this is you, and you basically know your friends and stuff right here. But then what happens is that you run into one of these people down here. Let's just say that it's somebody that is really weird, and so you end up going right to them because hey, they probably have a great avatar or they sound friendly, but in actuality, they are just using it as a front, as an absolute front to get some information. But you know what? What's the most common information that people try to get from these poor souls?
Where are you from?
Like, oh yes, where you're from. In fact, you know what? Why don't you go ahead and use your side here to go ahead and write down, you know, what we have there. So yeah, so where are you from? Now, here's the thing. It may not sound as harmless, but here's the real deal, my friends. If you are asked where you're from, they can pinpoint you pretty quickly. Because here's the thing. Let's say that me and Geek live out in like Nashville, Tennessee. Alright, so we live out there, but the thing is that you don't know exactly where. But if you were to look up Geek Doves or Dr. Detroit, then you would probably see, you know, that we would be living out there. But the other reason too why they would even do that is so that they can figure out a lot more about you. And probably the other thing that is kind of a bad one would be birthday. They would ask for your birthday. Let's see what you got here. Yeah, so if you want to stay safe though, here's something that you can do. If somebody asks you where you're from, you can easily say something like East Coast, West Coast, North or South, because then that basically puts you in any other area, and it makes it more difficult for these scammers and these spammers to find out exactly where you are. Let's come back over here really quick and let's see what you got here. Yes, birthday. But now let's think here. What's another thing that they try to go after? Oh,
this is a good one, and I can explain this.
Yeah, go for it.
What are you into? What do you like? And not necessarily everyone will do this, but some will do it right away so that they can adapt to what you like and gain more trust.
That's right, that's right. Now, here's the real deal. Some people go for like the most common topics, which the most common topics tend to be movies, anime, video games, and heck, even the world out there that they're on. Because if we imagine that this world here, let's say it's some world for, oh, how about we say TF2? Let's go ahead and do something simple like that. So let's pretend that that's a TF2 world and that I wrote TF2 up there. I don't know why my hand is like all copied out for some reason. But think of it this way. Because then here's the big deal. They can use that against you if you're not too careful. Even saying your most favorite game or your most favorite genre of music or something can also screw you over. Now, I know that, well, I can actually say this. Everybody knows me as sort of like the classic rock and classic pop kind of guy. This guy over here, you're more into the rap than the other things, right?
Metal, rap. I do like me some country every now and then.
Oh yeah, perfectly, and I do too. So again, that's something that they can do to gain that person's trust. But we need to hit this point home. Who are they going to go after most? Are they going to go after minors, adults, or the really seasoned people? I believe the answer is that they go after minors.
Yeah, but although there's another way, with more of that mole majority as an age group, sadly, a lot of people will lure you in using sex.
Oh, yeah, oh my god, yes. Yes. They do a little erotic city.
That's what my finger tastes like.
Exactly. You might want to. So yeah, unfortunately, there is a lot of people that will actually try to ring you in because you know what? As much as we are extremely cool and extremely handsome nardos, no, our asses stay in our pants, and everything else about us stays inside. Okay, because we ain't those type. But yeah, I mean that is just. But yeah, let's see here. Yeah, so never, ever go with anything of like, sexy time. But we pretty much have like the common things here and all that. But we can also tell you this too. A lot of people tend to go after login information. So let me just go ahead and get rid of this instance here. Let me just go ahead and close the instance, as it were. Go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, thank you. So, what do I mean by login information? Simple. They don't just need your username. They usually go for the password. Because you know what? The minute that they got the password and everything like that, they can actually get in. And a lot of people...
It's also why you enable two-factor authentication, because that way it makes it a lot harder for stuff like that to happen.
Exactly. Now, 2FA, of course, many of you probably know, is that when you log in, it will tell you to go to an app to get a code, and that code can be anything. Now, usually a code could look like this. It could look like, 1, 2, 3. Let's just go ahead and put up something here. 900. It could look something like that. Okay. Now that's not an actual code. Okay, that was just for demonstration purposes. But yeah, as long as you have 2FA initiated, even if you give somebody your password, they ain't gonna figure it out, because if they cannot, figure out the code and stuff, chances are that you'll be okay. But I think the other thing that is also the worst thing to give out, especially and I've seen this happen before with Fazbear kids, unfortunately. This. IP address.
Oh.
Now,
the reason why
go ahead.
That is so horrible is because when this is leaked... Oh, I just hit my hand on something.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Another reason why you want to never give that out is because that basically tells them your exact location. Which...
Right.
in case you don't know, horrible, because now that person knows where you live.
Yeah, in fact, right now we're
Right
gonna
where you
put.
live, right where you sleep.
Yeah, in fact, right now we're gonna put a fake IP address here on the screen, so you can actually see what it actually looks like. And the thing is that this also can hurt you. But there is something that you can do if you run into this problem. Because here's the next thing. Instead of giving them your IP address, you can use what's known simply as a VPN. There we go.
Yes, finally someone talks about it.
Yes.
VPNs are very useful because it makes it a lot harder for people to track down your IP because basically it's a plugin that blocks most web browsers from being able to view that information if they have the correct data to use. VPNs are also really nice because then it allows lots of other things to not be able to get in, even if you've never interacted with anything before. It prevents certain websites from being able to track you. It's very useful, and we can list a few. Like, for example, NordVPN. This is not sponsored.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny though because it was actually a sponsor for one of my Gran Turismo cars many years ago. But yeah, the other thing that VPNs do is just like what Geek said. So for example, let's pretend that this is my IP address. Again, these are all fake, and Geek was the hacker. Now, if he's trying to hack this one, he thinks, oh yeah, baby, I'm gonna get all this stuff. I'm gonna get all the bank information and all that stuff. But hold the phone though. Once he hacks in, he's gonna find zilch, because my IP address could be located somewhere in Japan or Sweden or Italy or Antarctica, Iceland, Sweden, Australia. I think I said Sweden twice, so okay, fine. But double the Swiss stuff.
Maybe.
yeah. So double the Swiss cheese, or it could even be in, of all places, South Korea. So when you run into that, there's nothing you can find. There's nothing there.
Yeah, it's very useful because this actually is a very common occurrence that happens pretty much every day. So we could list some VPNs to try out in the description.
Yeah, definitely.
They do cost money, some of them, so just keep that in note. But trust me, it is 100% worth it for your safety. It is 100% worth it for your well-being because stuff like this is very scary, and we're going to get into more of that later.
Yeah. And
It's horrible. So please keep yourself safe. Get a VPN, and most importantly, know who you're talking to before you talk to them, because simple questions can lead into bigger things that you never want to get out there.
Exactly. And also, just to put a period on the on the VPNs and stuff like that, yes, most of them definitely you have to pay for, but most of them have a yearly option, which means you could actually end up paying, like, let's say $110 now, but then you don't have to worry about the next payment till this point right now at the time of filming next year. Which is fantastic.
It's so useful. It's very useful. We recommend trying them because you definitely want to keep your safety. I think we've wrapped up everything here, haven't we?
Most of it anyway. But you know what? I just remembered something. The last thing that they will absolutely want to go after, and this is extremely bad if they get it. The last thing I can remember is your bank information, and that, my friends, is the worst thing that they can do. Bank information is extremely private, okay? You never give out your account number, your credit card number if you have one, and above all, you never ever mention who your bank is unless you're with some really close friends who like are talking about the same thing. I have some friends who talk a little bit about their banks, about, them either getting screwed in the ass because of something or because they actually, love that bank.
Yeah. Not I don't think there's much left to say.
Yeah, that's true.
Wow.
So, well, you know what? I also think that there is one thing, but let's turn the camera around this way for a second because I'm going to show you guys a little something interesting. So, just give us a second while we flip the camera around. All right, so what I'm going to do
That was
is I'm
really good.
it was. So now what I'm going to do is this. I'm actually going
Kept
to
stabbing the
change
pencils in the
avatars.
wall.
Yeah, look at that. I'm going to make sure that I get all of those. So we're going to turn the camera here, and what this is going to be, this is going to be a shorter segment. So what this is going to be more like is this. So I'm going to flip through some different avatars, and I'm going to kind of like, cut through them and stuff. So we're going to kind of like, I'm going to kind of show a little bit about, what I mean by other things. So here we go. I'm going to start up. Now this next part here is relatively short because I know that we have kind of, talked to you guys about information and all that
I
stuff.
changed avatars halfway through crap.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Whoops.
look at you.
Yeah.
Okay, so Geek has become a diamond
Whoops.
guy. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Okay, this is actually a perfect example. Because look at this. He's got this beautiful pink and black suit. The hair is like all nice and curly. I mean nice and cool. He's also got these little freckles on his face that almost kind of look like the little piece of cookies and cream. In fact, sometimes when characters kind of look like a dessert or something like that, that looks like it's very inviting. And if they're doing something like that, where they're like blowing kisses at you and everything like that, the weak-minded are like hey ladies, why don't you come over here? Why don't you? Yes, easy on the snoof there. But it also has a different effect too. Because hang on one second, let me go off screen for just 1 second because I can bring in somebody else that has this. If I can convince them to come over here, because not only does it happen with male avatars and things like that, it also happens to happen with female avatars like me. Because look at me, I got the nice rack, I look very inviting. I mean, I look like I could easily cuddle and snuggle you and most likely squish you to death.
And, it's also a bad thing too when you, let's say, you like video games. We'll pick one, I don't know, Cult of the Lamb. And you can see someone. Did it not work? Oh, and you can see someone wearing a Cult of the Lamb outfit.
Oh, that's rash.
So something like this can definitely be enticing. Also, sorry that I gave up the role of the lamb. I'm sorry. We're giving it to someone else. And it's just you can't always trust people just because they're doing a voice. I mean, most are trying to be funny, but you can't just keep trusting people just because they like a character and they can play a character that you like. Not saying that's going to everyone, because a lot of people are just there to have fun. But still, if they're going around in groups playing as that character, especially small groups with maybe younger people, point that out and make sure you can protect people, because trust me, it's not good.
That's right, Sugars. In fact, I see the most common is this. Now, here's the thing. It's not just, all of them, but the worst part is when you got something like this. Hey, come on in here, little buddy. Besides, it's time for you to have your time to shine. Oh, hold on. We gotta get his mic on his fur. Hold the phone. Okay, wait. Alright, so we're gonna put that right there, and then we're gonna put this right here. Okay, there we go. I think the mic's on. Yep, okay, there we go. Some people put on a very high voice and make you think that they're actually kids to lure you in. When in actuality, on the other side of the mic is somebody who actually has a very voice.
It's terrifying because stuff like this does happen all the time, but being mature is definitely a good trait to have. So, this goes out to all of the adults. Um, Watch what people are doing because you don't know if something's going to casually happen that you don't want it to. So make sure while you're having fun, make sure you at least keep an eye on what's going on because who knows? I could just blatantly trust this person and go through years worth of trauma.
Yeah, because you know what? Even the fluffiest and most cutest ones can give you the most headaches. Which is very, very true. Okay, okay, Dr. Detroit, you can come back in now. Thanks, Tails. Just go ahead and give me back the mic. Yeah, just go ahead and get you over here. There we go. Come on.
How many people are in this house?
Well...
You're back.
Yeah, I'm back. And, to answer your question about how many people are in this house, yes. So, now what we're gonna do is that we're actually now going to go upstairs, and we're going to, hear a little something interesting, because our good friend Geek over here has a little story to tell. So, we'll meet you guys up top momentarily. But again, if there's for some reason like you suddenly start to feel like you might lose it or you might get upset, please give me a high sign. I will cut the recording immediately, and then we'll stop. You can recover, and then we'll jump back in. So I'll take my cues from you.
Oh, all right.
We have now come up here to my top level, and we're actually sitting on the couch, the same sofa that I actually sat on for the How to Save a Life video. And I've kind of called this my serious couch because I've only used this like maybe once or twice in my entire lifetime. But we're up here because Geek, who has by the way changed avatars into this beautiful shark-looking thing, he has a story to tell us that coincides with the reason why we did this Do This Not That Personal Information Edition. So Geek, go ahead and tell the viewers right now your story because I also want to hear this one too.
All right. So the reason why we made this is because I wanted to spread awareness because I know this stuff is very real and it's horrible because well something like this has happened to me and it went on for multiple years. It's an absolute mess. But mind if I get into a little bit of background about myself before I go and explain the story?
The floor is yours, Geek.
Okay. So growing up, I didn't really have a lot of friends because, well, I have autism.
Right?
I was the weird one. I was the weird kid nobody wanted to talk to. Well, I did have friends, of course.
Mm,
I had good friends. We were all just kids hanging out doing stupid stuff because, well, that was me.
of course.
Um, and life was just about as normal as anyone could ever wish it was. Growing up early in my life, things were very casual. And I always am fond of those times because I was happy. I was sweet, innocent, and just genuinely, if I did something wrong, I would learn, and I wouldn't think too much of it.
Right.
Cut to around 4 years ago. I was 12. Um, and I was on here. This is before I'd ever met Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to an old world called the VRChat hub. It's not the home world, but it's the one with the giant tree and the campfire.
Mm.
I still remember that vividly.
Oh yeah.
And I was hanging out there just to talk and maybe goof around doing stuff because um this was around the time COVID was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
COVID-19, the pandemic.
Oh yeah.
And when I was going there, the reason why I was here so often is because I didn't really have any friends
Mm.
to talk to. So I came here and I just looked for people to talk to. And I had met someone who was doing a voice impression of Undertale characters like Sans, Papyrus, Underfell Papyrus, and they were even doing Sonic impressions. I was really into Sonic at that time. I've been into Sonic my whole life.
Oh, that's kind of
Um,
neat.
he was doing Sonic the Hedgehog, and he was going off doing all these voice impressions. A couple of his friends were there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to list his name, so we'll just call him V.
That works. I like it.
So, yeah. I feel like we're in a podcast.
No, it's okay because you know what? I mean, believe me, when I filmed the How to Save a Life video, it felt like a podcast. But you know what? In this area, this is totally fine. You know, just let your guts out. And by the way, too, you can curse because I am not a pussy. I don't censor things that much.
I try to cut back on that.
Yeah.
So
All right, go ahead.
I sent him a friend request. I was like, "Whoa, your voices are so cool. I really like you." And then we became friends, and he stated he hadn't really cared that much. He was like, "Okay, sure, whatever." And the only reason he cared is because I kept coming back, which is what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I'd come visit him. We'd come talk, hang out. He'd be with his friends, and oh my gosh, there's background noise. You probably just heard that one.
That's fine. That's totally fine.
um, and our friendship grew.
Mm-hmm.
I was, though, looking back on it, there were some immediate signs. Although he wasn't necessarily asking for personal information,
Mm-hmm.
he was very controlling,
Interesting.
very manipulative, and he would tell me that I needed to act a certain way and I can't just run around goofing off doing this.
Ooh.
But he masked it because he had taught me, like, hey, you can't just go around talking to everyone like they're your friends. You gotta be more careful.
Mm-hmm.
Sprinkled um sprinkled some actual genuine information in there so that he could lay in these rules like you need to have a base, you need to have a main avatar, you need to act this way, you can't act all crazy and weird. You're doing this, and if I messed up and I got emotional or something, he'd be like, "Oh, you did this. You were like, we're gonna remember this," and yeah, he would always bring it up like, "Oh yeah, like, and hey, you were this. Oh, I know, like you're way too emotional. You need to control your emotions." And yes, that is a thing that I do struggle with, but
Mm-hmm.
the way he was handling it was not helping at all because he was holding it over my head like a dead weight. He was holding it
Wow.
over my head the whole time, bringing it up in conversations and making the experience way more uncomfortable because you do it around people I wouldn't know
Jesus.
or people that I have just met.
Wow. That's insane.
The French, he even judged things that I like. Like for a while, I was into the new, recently rising game, Friday Night Funkin'.
Oh, okay. What's that
Um,
game?
and when he saw me wearing an avatar of the character boyfriend,
Mm-hmm.
he lashed out at me saying it was stupid and he mocked me for my age and how dumb it was and how
Jesus.
just stupid it was. And he mocked me for hours and he humiliated me when I was just trying to come talk to him and saying, hey, I'm going to be taking a break from things for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And he never apologized for that. And then later went on to say that he doesn't judge people for anything. Yeah.
Son of a gun. Son of
Um,
a gun.
so V, of course, V,
Mm-hmm.
it seems like a pretty, it seems like a friend that's just, he just has a really high opinion, right?
Right. Right. Right.
Wouldn't exactly call him the worst person in the world. There's way worser people out there, right?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot worse
Yeah,
people.
let's see if I can change that. I still wouldn't call him the worst person in the world. But after this happened, I mean, there's the Zodiac Killer, there's all these really horrible people, like anyone who would commit a school shooting or
Yeah.
mass homicide or,
Jeffrey Dahmer.
yeah. But the one night, I remember this vividly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's almost traumatic in a way. The words are physically engraved in my head, and it still repeats.
I see. Well,
I know
before
how
you
it's the conversation.
here, before you say that, I'm gonna put a warning up here on the screen. Warning. Even though I have not heard the story just yet, if anything in this next part of the story offends you or makes you feel uncomfortable, please stop the video and go watch something else. Otherwise, if you're still here, enjoy the ride. Go ahead.
Yeah, go check out Cookboss or Jay Youngblood or Alex VA. They're all really good doers. Go check them out.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
So, um, it was just me and him in a world one day, which was strange because that wasn't really often. He was always with friends
Mm-hmm.
of his. Um, but he decided to start a conversation,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "Hey, would you like to see some? Would you like to hear about something different? Hear about
Okay.
something that I haven't told you yet?
Mm-hmm.
Something that you might find interesting?"
Right.
And then he sat me down, and he stood behind me like he loomed over me.
I see.
And the conversation started out like this: "Do you have an OC?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a character. I haven't touched him in a few years, but it was an old bendy recolor OC thing I had made a while back."
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I was really passionate about it.
Mm-hmm.
um, and he sat me down and said, "Ah, well, you want to know something very fascinating?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And he said, "All of your fictional characters are real, and every fictional universe that's out there is completely real." I looked up and I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he said, "Well, there's something not a lot of people in the universe know, is that fictional characters are real and I have contact with them. You can contact them and call them." Oh god, it's all coming back to me.
It's okay. It's okay.
Every bit of that. I didn't even remember that, but I guess I do now.
Yeah.
Ain't leaving me anytime soon. So,
I got you.
um, when it came down to the conversation, we went on for hours.
Right.
It was late at night. I was sitting over on a corner where my guitar is now laying,
Mm-hmm.
and he had convinced me somehow fictional characters were real. You could talk to them. There was a multiverse out there, and there was that I, all these things that made me believe
Mm-hmm.
Sonic the Hedgehog is real. Sans, Papyrus, they were all real. All these characters were real. I could talk to them. This could be a dream come true.
Wow.
And he did that by demonstrating, by having one of his OCs front. This will be important later.
Mm-hmm.
Having one of his OCs front, coming into taking over his body, as you will,
Mm-hmm.
and talking to me about all of his Sonic OC's dramatic past, and
Oh, brother.
talking to me about the responsibilities and humanity.
Jesus.
And I and he went on and on about information. And then he eventually his OC asked would you like to know more information? And I said, no, I would not like to know any more than I do now. I would consider you an ally, someone to aid me in battle, someone to help me. I'm doing my Narinder voice.
No, but if it helps,
um,
it works.
fitting, I guess. It's like the lamb and Narinder again. Um, so yeah, so as crazy and as weird as it sounds, he convinced me that all that was real.
Jesus. Okay.
I was firmly believing in it.
Wow.
I remember the world we went to. I once went there like a couple years later, and I was just sitting in there staring at the window that we had looked out of, talking about how disgusting but yet beautiful humanity was.
Right.
Honestly, he was a really good poet.
Mm-hmm.
He could write a poem, and it was just fantastic. I don't know how he did
Wow.
it, but through gaining my trust, through talking to me on multiple ends, and basically being this parental figure to this place, he gained my trust and was now able to convince young me all of this utterly insane stuff. Like it gets worse, trust me.
Wow.
Um, and so I went to bed that day,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Whoa, this is real. This is real." I was looking, I was like, "This changes everything. I know something no one else does."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my back's hurting.
I know. I gotta get this
Oh.
couch reupholstered pretty soon. But go ahead.
um, so I had the friendship had went on for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and I eventually took a break from here. I just stopped coming.
I see.
And this, I believe that all of that
Mm-hmm.
was definitely the start of the way my life was going to turn into,
Mm-hmm.
because oh my god, it ruined my whole life. Like these
Jeez.
just 2 years. Um, and if I'm exaggerating, I really hope I'm not. It's because just please make sure you're comfortable with disturbing topics before we get into it, because this does get into topics like pedophilia and other occultist like activities.
Jesus Christ. I see. Wow. So really, this
So
guy, this guy was really just playing with you and just hanging you by like a piece of dental floss almost.
yes, he was
Christ.
really good at it too.
Yikes.
It's because I didn't have anyone to trust, because I had no friends. So I believed him, and he convinced me fictional characters were real. Moving on one day,
Mm-hmm.
I had come back because recently,
Mm-hmm.
during that time at least, the idea of fictional characters being real, I was like, I gotta see this guy again. So I hop back on, get back on here, and I see him again, and he recognized me immediately. Like, oh, hey, what are you doing here? I was like, oh, I came to see you again. And so we eventually catch up. He's got new friends.
Mm-hmm.
I meet some people in his high school friends list. Not gonna name any of them either.
Yeah.
But um yeah, we catch up, things go normal. I start telling him, oh yeah, like I want to be a voice actor one day. Hey, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's been my dream for a long time now. And I was telling him, like, I want to be a voice actor one day. He's like, oh yeah, okay. we I start becoming personal, but then eventually I realize the people, not just him, were bad. A lot of it's a little fuzzy, so please have a little bit of patience. Some of this is kind of fuzzy. It's a little
That's
hard to
fine.
remember now, but
That's totally fine. You know, you say whatever you feel most comfortable saying.
All right. Um, we start to get a little closer in things,
Mm-hmm.
and I meet some of his friends.
Yeah.
One of them, very much, was not afraid to express their feelings.
Hmm. Wow.
They were not afraid to express what they liked, if you catch my drift here.
Yeah, I do.
They wore Pokemon avatars with
Mm-hmm.
insanely big proportions
Oh Christ.
and would theme their entire persona around the vor fetish.
Oh no, not the vor people. Oh
Uh,
yeah.
they they were those people that would and the worst part is the let me around those people. He let
Oh.
me around them. And he let them talk to me. And he let them say all these things and all this and
Mm-hmm.
literally would just perfectly okay with it. And he started exposing me to things that I shouldn't have never gone into.
Mm-hmm.
That part I'm
Right.
leaving out. I don't want to talk
Right.
about it.
That's fine. That's fine. You don't. That's fine. You don't have to say what you
he
don't
let
want to.
me he let me around. Actually, there was one or two people that I still think very fondly of because they were just real people who eventually
Mm-hmm.
realized how bad it was and got out of there.
Right.
Last I heard, one of them got a wife.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I still actually talk to one of those people today, but I won't disclose their name.
That's fine. You want to protect the innocent.
Um, so he, his influence on me was growing, before you know it, I was right back in that. I need to act this, I need to act that, I need to do this, I need to do that. The whole creator thing, he specifically said he did not want me around there because I
Mm-hmm.
had intense emotions and I would not be able to handle it.
Right.
But it was a little weird considering that before that, it was looking like I was going to, oh yeah, I could finally join in. Thankfully, I did not. I'm honestly really thankful that for some reason he hid that from. He did not want me to get in,
Right.
mainly because I think the real reason why he did it is because well he probably exposed I'd probably expose things because I was known to be, I think, literally in some delusion that I was just supposed to pretend was real was going on. I'd like
Mm.
mm. It had led into this thing where he started he started saying things that would cause me to question things about myself.
Mm.
Like how sometimes I had really strong emotions.
Right.
That was the first thing. Because sometimes I was feeling neglective of emotion because people specifically gave me an attitude when I was trying to talk to them.
I see.
And he started giving me some neglecting treatment
Mm.
after he had gained a lot of my trust.
Yeah.
It was very minor at first, but
Right.
it started growing. Sometimes he would let me hang around him,
Mm-hmm.
and not long later, a few years into this whole creator thing that was going on, I had I had this urge to one day go out. Um, so further on the topic, guess what happened with me and Molly?
Um. Let me. I don't know.
Well, sometime past, we get into our own little relationship.
Okay.
I just remembered another story that happened. Oh, I can get into that later. Um,
Yeah.
this takes place after that. Should I get into it or before I get into this?
Actually, you know what? I have a very interesting idea. The I I I think right now we have definitely gone into overtime here, so I have an idea. What we're gonna do is that we're going to end this episode of VRChat 101 right here. However, make sure that you tune in for part two, where we're going to get the rest of Geek's story. Because here's the thing, I want to make sure that we get this entire story on tape. But it's a really interesting deal. But I think this definitely deserves a part two. Like this could be the continuation of it. So what we're going to do is that we're actually going to stop right here, and we will release part two at a slightly later date. So for part one, that is going to do it. If you guys want to see more of this, and you also want to keep an eye out for part two of this story, make sure you hit the like button. Don't forget to comment, also subscribe, and click that bell to turn on the notifications. And anyway, prepare yourself for part two. In fact, I'll most likely release it immediately after this, so you'll see a link in the description below to where it is. So for Geek Dubs, I'm Dr. Detroit. Take care, and now click the link below to go to part two right now.